Hey, y'all, check in with me. Listen, yesterday was Memorial Day, right? And don't get me wrong, I got some footage. I'm going to post it in a second. But I needed to come by and say this. This was my first Memorial Day seeing, not just like physically, but spiritually, okay? Because let me say it like that. 2023 was the year he passed. So everything in 2023 was just a blur, to be very transparent with you, right? It was a blur because I didn't know what to do or how to do or what was I supposed to do, right? And then 2024 came and I was high and I was drunk all the time. Well, 2025, now I'm sober, POV of deliverance, and so because now I get to see and thank the good Lord above, he's allowing me to be able to see, right, in totality, these different holidays and these different extra moments of like realization. So I have to realize that even though like when, people really say like, yeah, let's take a moment for the fallen. The moment for me too. Because like as a military spouse, you're just as hurt and devastated by the fallen soldier as the unit is. Okay? As the branch is, whatever branch it is, Okay. And then I had to sit and I had to say to myself, I was like, what did I do last year? Like, I really went through a thing, y'all. I was really like, what did I do last year? And like, like, what did I do? Where did I go? What happened? And like, it's also now, it's glitchy. I remember like overall what happened, but like, it's glitchy. And I'm just like, I don't remember what I did. But again, it goes back to the state of mind I was in. So now this year, which just so happened to be like the fair was out, and so I was able to go to the fair and have fun at the fair. Now I loves me a good fair, okay? I do. And so it was like, okay. 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 Then it got to the point where it was like, well, what do you do now? You had a good day. You had a great day. I had a late start of my day, but that was to go without being said of why. And so now I have to be accountable, right? So it brought me back to the place of accountability because I was just like, okay, so now I'm back at accountability, right? And the accountability for myself is I didn't give myself grace in the beginning, right? I didn't know I could. So that's one thing. And then once I learned that I could, I still didn't because I felt like I was already, in such a hole that I couldn't. And most times once you think you can't, come out of something, it brings you down in so many areas of your life. It's not just one area that it brings you down in. It brings you down mentally. It brings you down emotionally. It brings you down spiritually. It brings you down psychologically, okay? Metaphysically, metaphorically. It brings you all the way down in these components. And then when it's time to rebuild each of these steps, you have to do them one at a time. And most times our problem, and when I say our, I mean we as people, as human beings, as individuals, our problem is that we try to fix all the steps at one time. And we can't. I was so, let me say it like this. I was so invested in making sure that I was sober, right? And drug free. Yay, amen. That like, I didn't realize that once I got to that step, then that means all the other steps that was broken because of my drug usage, because of my intoxication, because of my slight addiction. And I say the word slight because I was functioning. Okay, I was what they call a functioning addict. It's an actual term. For all the doctors and smart people that knows, that's what I would have been clinically called, a functioning addict. Okay, so I didn't realize that, like, okay, now that I got that one step fixed, right? I don't need drugs. I don't need alcohol to go to sleep. And don't get me wrong, every so often I would do pills, but not even. But that's a whole nother story for another day. But my point to all of that is, once I got all of those parts of that together, then I realized now I have to take steps and fix all the other steps, i.e. Memorial Day. Because again, prior to, I just let it be. I let the day go. I let everybody's issue and problem and circumstances become my problem, and it was never a priority, right? And so now this year I'm like, wow, I get to do what I want to do. I get to have fun the way I want to have fun. But in fixing the whole step means having the accountability for everything. Not just how I looked, not just how I smelled. And when I mean smell, you do have to choose what you smell like when you go outside. Okay. I had on my Gucci Bloom yesterday. Is that Bloom? No, it's Floral. I'm sorry. I had on my Gucci Floral yesterday. So I didn't smell too strong. I didn't smell too sweet. I smelled just right. Okay. So you have to, take every part of that step. And even though it's a big step, there's so many components to each step. It's not just like step lust, step attitude, step. It's not like that, because you have to look at the step, and you have the accountability step. For me, I'm at accountability step. So in accountability, I have to take accountability for the whole day. Everything that I let happen, everything that I let out of my own control, everything that I said, everything that I gave authority to. Because sometimes we don't do it, but we have to have accountability that we gave it authority to do it. I gave that person authority to talk to me like this. I gave that situation authority to react like that. We have to have an accountability to the authority we give things and people. And so, which becomes the more of a lack of an accountability on ourselves. So, it was an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener. Progress of a widow. The transition of a widow. Because as I'm progressing, I am transitioning. I'm transitioning my mind. I'm transitioning my levels of understanding. Because we know things as people, and we just... That's another video.